Greetings, beautiful ones. How are you all doing today on this glorious summer's day? If you're new to my channel, I'm Joseph. It's lovely to have you with me today. And if you are a returning subscriber, it's lovely to have you too. In today's tutorial, I'm not teaching us how to make one thing. I'm teaching us how to make two things. So I'm going to teach us how to make an SPF, probably around an SPF 20 moisturiser. Sorry, something's going on out in the street. It sounds like people are killing themselves or killing each other. Yeah, I'm going to make an SPF, probably around an SPF 20 moisturiser and a I'm also going to show us how to make a, sorry, that fly has actually encapsulated itself in my lungs now, guys. It's not in my digestive system. I actually breathed it in. So sorry, that's why I keep coughing. And it's part of my body now. So Joseph has a fly in his body. And also I'm going to teach us how to make a foundation which has an SPF value of 20, and this beforehand didn't have an SPF. So if that sounds like something you beautiful ones would like to find out more about, keep watching. Before I continue, beautiful ones, I've just got to say hello to two very, very special people out there. My best friend, Julie. Hello, Julie. How are you doing? And her daughter, Amy. Hi, Amy. How are you? I hope you're both okay. Julie and Amy both live in Australia. They used to live in England. Well, I don't think Amy's ever lived in England, actually. She was born in Australia. But Julie left 16 years ago to pursue her life over there. She's now a naturalised Australian citizen, and we've been friends for years. So, hi, Julie, Muffa. That's what we used to call each other. So, long story, guys. But right, let's get on with the tutorial. I love giving shout outs to people. If anyone else wants me to do one, I'm yours, guys. I'm all yours. Do you know what I mean? So there are basically two types of and there are two types of sunscreens in the world. There's chemical sunscreens and then there's physical sunscreens. And what chemical sunscreens do is they absorb the light chemically. Sounds obvious, doesn't it? And what physical sunscreens do is they reflect light back, so they basically form like a physical barrier on the skin. And today we're going to be looking at physical sunscreens. There are two sorts. Well, there's more than two, but today we're going to be looking at two. The first one I'm going to be looking at, which I have in my possession, is titanium dioxide. And this is a white chalky sort of powder. It's very, very greasy, guys, if that makes sense. I'm not going to say if that makes sense very much today. Can't believe I just said it, in fact. But no, titanium dioxide is a white sort of chalky, greasy powder, and it adheres to the skin really, really easily. And once it's on there, it takes quite a bit to get it off. It won't just wash off with water. And the other, physical sunscreen is zinc oxide. And this again is a white chalky powder, and again it's very greasy and very, on the skin it does adhere to the skin, and that's possibly what makes them both excellent sunscreens, because they actually adhere to the skin, giving any formulation with those two in, or either one of those two, longevity. The big differences between titanium dioxide and zinc oxide is the fact that titanium dioxide gives a little bit more SPF protection. And all you really need to know, gorgeous ones out there, is the fact that zinc oxide, for 1% of zinc oxide used, will give you an SPF of 1.6. So you use 10% of zinc oxide, you get 16 SPF 16, in other words. And with titanium dioxide, it's 2.6% per 2.6 SPF per 1% of titanium dioxide. So if we use 10% titanium dioxide, we get an SPF 26 or something. So to get an SPF, and it doesn't always necessarily work that, the more titanium dioxide or the more zinc oxide you use, the higher the SPF is. They tend to plateau out around 50%, SPF 50. That's why you don't really see many SPF 100s, or do you know what I mean? Does that, is that clear? I promise, beautiful ones, to keep today's tutorial as waffle-free as possible, especially now I know I'm being viewed in Australia, as far flung away as that. That's a good point, actually. Can you guys let me know in the comments which countries you come from? I'd love to know. I really, really would. I mean, obviously, I'm interacting with many of you, via the comments on YouTube, but I haven't got a clue where many of you come from. So if you just write the country and your name, that would be great. And my name's Joseph, and I'm from England, so actually Welsh originally, but I just said I wasn't going to waffle, and yet I'm waffling. Let's get on with the tutorial. And before anyone points out, I know I've already said that Dean is my best friend, but Dina is my best friend, and Julie is as well, because the three of us are inseparable. We were really, really close at school. Julie now lives in Australia. I'm sure you have no interest in what I'm talking about whatsoever, but FYI and all of that. So this is the moisturiser with the SPF possibly around 15. Again, I use about around a teaspoon and a half of zinc oxide. So that would probably give us around an SPF 20, I guess. And this is a a pure white formulation. There's no preservatives in this, guys. And I don't tend to use preservatives because, again, we'll be using them so regularly that we won't need to add preservatives to protect the formulation. Shall I say it? The formulation. Right. So it's just my sense of humour, guys. I'm sorry. So I might just try a little bit. I just wanted to show you that this isn't chalky at all. Do you know some of these SPFs can leave like quite a nasty white sort of cast on the skin, can't they? And there's just see that's an SPF 20, and that's just absorbed into the skin. And I was actually watching Alexandra Anele. She's a huge YouTuber. She's got 1 million followers plus. And she was sorting out her sunscreens the other day, possibly 2 or 3 weeks ago. And in it, she had at least 2 baskets full of sunscreens, which must have cost the poor woman a fortune. And she's after the ultimate sunblock, basically, which does everything she wants it to. She wants it to be matte, but not white on the skin. She wants it to be a perfect base for makeup. And so my advice to Alexandra Anele is to make your own. The Miracle Balm, which I'll link into the description of this video, is a perfect base for foundation or any sort of makeup. It's also very matte, but it slides onto the skin as well, and it doesn't leave a white cast, and that's an SPF 50. And as I said, I'll link that into the description. This is not a balm. I mean, the Miracle Balm is water-free, but this is a water-based. This is water-based silicone in water formulation. It's got a lovely smell to it. It's got that gorgeous silicone-y sort of smell. And if none of you know what I'm talking about, then I'm going to shut up. Right, so, and I've just put some on the back of my hand. Can you see? Just to prove that it wasn't a fluke, guys, I'll put a little bit more on. And do you know what I mean about the old, the white cast? Do any of you have that issue with sunscreen? Rubber arm, again? Julie and I, so we were just on the phone talking, and she said she thought that was quite funny. But yeah, let's move on. And as I've just said, guys, did I actually say that or not? I can't remember. I'll have to look back at the old footage. But I think I said that this has got zinc oxide in it, didn't I? And the reason I use zinc oxide is putting it over there, guys. Sorry. The reason I use zinc oxide is because it's personal preference, basically. I find titanium dioxide a little bit too clingy on the old skin. Do you know what I mean? But the best way forwards really is to mix them both up. So if we'd use maybe three-quarters of a teaspoon of zinc oxide, and then gone in with the same amount as this one, titanium dioxide, then that gives you a far more broad spectrum SPF. If that helps you guys out there, if you know if you understand me. And because this moisturizer is SPF 20, it will protect your skin against exposure to the sun. Basically, I would reapply every 3 or 4 hours if you're out in the sun. It's not a waterproof formulation, unfortunately, guys. It has got water in it, which means it sadly isn't waterproof. If you want a waterproof one, use the Miracle Balm. That's amazing stuff. I love that stuff. Again, you can feel free to personalize this. I mean, a few drops of vitamin E oil would go vitamin E oil would go very nicely in this formulation. This is an oil-free formula as is at the moment, but vitamin E is an oil, but a very protective oil. So a few drops of that one in there. Fragrance, you could add some essential oils to it just to personalize it. Do you know what I mean? As I said, it doesn't really smell of anything. It's just that sort of clean sort of silicone-y smell, which I'm particularly fond of. Should we move on to the next item? The next item, gorgeous ones, is a skin tint. Can you see that? And again, this is SPF 20, possibly a little bit more. It's almost like a whipped sort of a moussey sort of texture. You can see that, can't you, gorgeous ones? And when I'll just put it over here again because that will end up everywhere if I don't. Got it all over my fingers. The thing with a tinted moisturizer or a skin tint, because we're having to use an existing foundation to create it with, you've got to try and get the color as close to your skin tone as possible. I was in Sainsbury's earlier on today, and I got this one just to do this tutorial with. I did buy the Revolution Full Cover Foundation to film this one with, but I just don't like the formulation. It's too chalky and it's too thick, I guess. Whereas this one is I haven't actually tried it on my hand yet because I'm going to review this and I'm going to do a blind review. All I did was I just opened it up and I squirted 10 drops, I believe, into, just give me a second. And I would also say, guys, it's quite important when choosing the foundation to dilute down in an SPF moisturizer, as well as choosing the right color. This is color light vanilla. Can you see that? Yeah, you can just about see that, can't you? Sorry, the neighbours are being really noisy today, guys. Typical. Again, the day I decide to film a tutorial, the neighbours all come alive when normally they're just all very, very quiet. Yeah, and I was saying, wasn't I, as well as choosing the colour very carefully to match your skin tone, you also need to tailor the formula to your skin type as well. This is a matte. Can you see that? Does it say matte there on anywhere? Yeah, matte foundation. Can you see that just there? And because I have quite, this is because I don't use the formulations that I make, guys, they all go down the sink or what have you. I only use the soya serum, and that's why I give so much stuff away as well, because, you know, I have tons and tons and tons of skincare. In fact, I'm just surrounded by skincare, all at DIY stuff, you know, my formulas I've made. So this is a matte foundation, because again, for oily skin, that would be ideal. If you have dry skin, use a dry skin foundation. If you want a dewy finish, go with a dewy finish. It's basically self-explanatory, isn't it? One more point about foundation, guys. Try to get the fullest coverage possible, because we're diluting it down by 10-fold, because we're using, you know, 10 drops in I guess each drop is about a mil, and we're using 10 drops in a 100 ml solution, or 100 mils of cream, which is roughly how much, sorry, got to get this one, but roughly what the size of this one is. Again, you can make as much or as little of this as you want. Play around with it, guys. Do you know what I mean? There aren't any rules to DIY skincare, are there? You can't harm the formula, can you? And all you're doing at the end of the day is, if it all does go wrong, you're just wasting a few pence as opposed to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds. So that's win-win, isn't it? Do bear in mind, guys, that this now, because we've diluted the foundation down so much, it won't give you hardly any coverage at all. It will do is just embellish your skin and make you look even more flawless than you would do naturally. Again, if you want a thicker coverage, then just add more drops, or if you want less drops. I hope that helps. Okay, guys, shall I teach you how to make these two? And then, as I say, I might break them up, and after I've taught you how to make the cream, I'll come back and I'll just talk about price and so on, and then I'll teach you how to add the foundation, and then we'll close for today. Is that all right? Let's do that. So, guys, you'll need a bag of zinc oxide powder, bottle of oil of choice. Here I'm using cyclomethicone, which is a liquid silicone, but you can use any oil you want. A bag of emulsifying wax. A jug with around 200 mils of water, and do make sure it's hot. A clean bowl to do our mixing in, as always. 1 tablespoon and 1 teaspoon. Let's not say anything, shall we, guys? Let's just not even go there. We will use that piece of tissue paper one day, guys, I promise. So in your clean bowl, and get your tablespoon too, and your emulsifying wax, and your bottle of oil of choice. There again, I'm using cyclomethicone because I wanted to make an oil-free formulation, guys. So into the bowl, I'm going to add 1 tablespoonful of emulsifying wax. Add 5 tablespoonfuls of oil of choice. And this lot's going to go in the microwave in a minute, guys, and along with the water as well, so it's all the same temperature and they're both hot. Oh no, it's not. Sorry, we're adding the zinc oxide first. I'm racing ahead as usual, sorry. Add 1 teaspoon of zinc oxide powder. Give that a quick blend together with the oil and the emulsifying wax. Now it's all going to go in the microwave. Sorry about that, guys. So you can see that water steaming, can't you? And the bowl is really, really hot, so do be careful of fingers. Add 5 tablespoonfuls of water. Just give it a stir once every 3 or 4 minutes, guys. You don't have to stand there stirring it like I am, because I'm an idiot. No, I just didn't want it to curdle for the tutorial, that was all. And the more you stir it, the less chance you have of curdling. And again, you could add preservative at this point, or essential oils, or vitamin E capsules. And if you want a higher SPF, just add a little bit more zinc oxide. If you want a lower SPF, why would anyone want a lower SPF? But, you know, you could always go in with a little bit less zinc oxide. Still a bit runny there, guys, so you know, it's not, the formulation hasn't cooled down to thick cream level yet. Getting there now, beautiful ones, not much longer. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you all for the next tutorial. In fact, I'll see you in a minute. Lots of love. So beautiful ones, that's how we make my very own moisturiser with around an SPF 15 to about 20. Again, if you want a higher SPF, then just go in with more zinc oxide. If you want a lower SPF, why would anyone want a lower SPF, right? But you know, if you do, if SPF 15 is too high for you, can't imagine any situation where that would be the case. But if it is too high, then you can always go in with less. Again, you can always substitute the zinc oxide with titanium dioxide, and just play around with it, guys. Have fun. My bag of titanium dioxide was £4.99, I think, for 100 grams. Again, off eBay. And I ought to just tell you about the foundation I got. And sorry, stay tuned towards the end of this tutorial, because I'll be showing you how to add foundation into a moisturiser, an SPF moisturiser, which we've made ourselves to make the SPF skin tint. I hope that helps, or that's clear without saying. So the bottle of foundation I used in the skin tint in the end was the collection, what's it called? Hang on, Lasting Perfection, and it's this one. This is a matte foundation. I think it's quite full coverage, actually, beautiful ones, and it's in colour light vanilla. Make sure that's the right way up. Can't see a thing. There, can you see that? It says light vanilla. Oh, I've showed it to you already anyway, haven't I, at the start of the tutorial. And this is a 16, it's quite a full, as I said, it's quite a full coverage foundation, and it's 16-hour wear, so it's a long wear one. However, we're, again, because you're adding it to a cream, you're disrupting the fixing agent, so you won't be able to have 16 hours wear. 16 hours wears? 16 wears? What am I talking about? Again, beautiful ones, unfortunately, you won't be able to get 16 hours wear out of the skin tint, because again, we're disrupting the fixing agents, which, you know, bond with the skin, because we've got water in the formula. There's nothing you can do about that. Probably say about a good 8 or 9 hours, and this is a full coverage foundation. It's sweat resistant, water resistant, and all of those other ones. It's all on the back there. However, again, you know, because, as I've just said, you're diluting the formulation down, you won't be able to have all of the benefits of the foundation, but you are getting the benefits of the SPF, which I think outweigh the, you know what I'm talking about. And this was £7 from Sainsbury's, and they sell collection in Sainsbury's, Wilko's and Superdrug, I do believe. And this is a 6-in-1 foundation. Sainsbury's are very good, guys. They have a full range of testers in there, you know, full-sized testers with the exactly the same foundation in there, so that you can try them on the back of your hand or down your jaw. Do you know what I mean? I was going to say something else, and it's totally gone. It will come back. It was just to do with the fact that it had a security seal, and I took it off, and now it's really, really sticking. That's going to bother me possibly forever. Who knows? And I also, in the bargain bin cage thing in Sainsbury's, I picked up this one as well, which again I was going to try and use for today's tutorial. I haven't opened this, guys, so I don't know whether it was there were 3 or 4, and some of the shades were really, really full on and really, really dark, way too dark for my skin. But I thought this one was a reasonable match. So again, you know, when you're choosing foundations to mix in a tint, just make sure you get as close a match to your skin as possible. All right, guys, that's it for today. If you enjoyed today's tutorial, do give this video a thumbs up. Similarly, please consider subscribing so you're kept abreast every time I release new videos. And hit the notifications button to all, of course. And all that remains is for me to wish you gorgeous ones a beautiful Monday, and have a lovely week, guys. And I'll see you all very, very soon.